Imagine a game that has captivated the minds of kings, queens, and generals for over 1,000 years. A game that challenges your intellect, strategy, and patience, all while symbolizing war, power, and wisdom. This is the story of chess, a game born on the battlefields of ancient India and evolved into a global sport that still holds the world's attention. From its humble beginnings to becoming a symbol of human intellect, chess has shaped cultures, influenced history, and continues to captivate millions today. The history of chess is a long and fascinating tale, one that stretches back over 1,000 years. It began not as the modern game we know today, but as an ancient Indian strategy game designed to mirror the tactics of battle. The earliest form of chess was called Chaturanga, and it was created in India around the 6th century. Chaturanga, which translates to 4 divisions of the military, represented the 4 branches of an army: infantry, cavalry, elephants, and chariots. Each piece had its own way of moving on the board, and the objective was to checkmate the opposing king, just as in modern chess. This early version of chess spread to Persia, where it was known as Shatranj. In Persia, the rules were refined and the game began to take on the characteristics of the chess we know today. The pieces were given new names, and the vizier, the precursor to the queen, had limited movement. As the Islamic Empire expanded, Shatranj spread to the Arab world and then to Europe. The game was not just a pastime, it became a symbol of intellectual prowess. It was played in royal courts and intellectual circles, and it became intertwined with the culture of the Middle Ages. By the time chess reached Europe, it was already evolving. The Islamic world preserved and enhanced the game, passing it on to the Christian West. The game was gradually adapted in Spain, Italy, and France, leading to the creation of new pieces and refined rules. The history of chess stretches across centuries, touching multiple civilizations and shaping the course of history in subtle yet profound ways. It began in India over 1,000 years ago as a strategy game called Chaturanga. A game created to simulate warfare and teach military strategy, Chaturanga mirrored the structure of ancient armies, infantry, cavalry, elephants, and chariots. The pieces represented these military divisions, and the objective was to capture the opposing king, much like modern chess. Chaturanga was a game that wasn't merely about leisure. It had deeper symbolic and intellectual significance. Played on an 8x8 grid, the game represented the tactical positions of battle, making it a perfect tool for military training. The names of the pieces reflected the military structure, such as infantry being represented by pawns, and the cavalry and elephants symbolized knights and bishops, respectively. Though the game was designed to be played by 2 people, each with a small army, it required far more than just luck. The players needed to employ strategy, foresight, and adaptability, qualities that would later define the game of chess in its many forms around the world. As the game spread beyond India, it found its way into Persia, where it was known as Shatranj. This transition marked the first significant step toward what we recognize as modern chess. The game maintained much of its original structure, but with some refinements. For example, the king was still the centerpiece, and the elephant piece, now called the bishop, had a unique, limited movement on the board. The game's popularity grew in Persia, and Shatranj became an important intellectual pursuit. It was practiced in royal courts and among scholars, seen as an exercise in strategic thinking. This was not just a game, it was a representation of the intellectual sophistication and military understanding of the time. As the Islamic Empire expanded in the 7th century, Shatranj traveled across the Arab world, with the game taking root in cities like Baghdad, Cairo, and Damascus. Here, the game evolved further, incorporating new rules and playing styles. It was in the Islamic world that chess truly began to develop into a more formalized game. Scholars like Al-Adli and Al-Suli wrote extensive texts on the game, codifying the rules and discussing strategies in great detail. These writings would become foundational texts in the development of chess theory. From the Arab world, chess spread into Europe during the medieval period. As Islamic scholars and merchants traveled to Spain and Italy, they brought the game with them. The process of learning chess was now accelerated. In the courts of Spain, Italy, and later France, chess would be embraced not just by scholars, but also by kings and noblemen. As the game spread into Europe during the 9th century, it was quickly adopted by European courts, where it became a favored pastime of nobility. But the game wasn't merely a form of entertainment, it had a more profound purpose. Chess was seen as a reflection of the intellectual capabilities of its players. For the nobility, it was a way to demonstrate both their strategic thinking and their cultural sophistication. By the 11th century, chess had become a fixture in the royal courts of Europe. The game had changed slightly, with some of the pieces evolving in form and function. The vizier, which had originally moved just one square diagonally in Shatranj, was now given the powerful movement of the queen. The bishop also became more mobile, able to move across diagonals over the entire board. In the Middle Ages, chess was more than just a game. It was an intellectual pursuit. Monks and scholars played the game to hone their minds. The game was also used to teach military strategy, as it required players to think ahead, plan, and calculate their moves, just as military commanders did on the battlefield. The 15th century marked a significant turning point in the evolution of chess. The game underwent substantial rule changes that would eventually lead to the chess we recognize today. One of the most important changes was the transformation of the queen from a relatively weak piece into the most powerful one on the board. The introduction of castling and the promotion of pawns further accelerated the pace of the game, making it faster and more dynamic. These changes coincided with the Renaissance, a period when intellectual pursuits were highly valued, and chess became even more widely played. The game's popularity spread throughout Europe, and by the 16th century, it had become a fixture in royal courts and intellectual circles. By the 16th century, the game had become formalized. The rules were standardized, and chess theory began to emerge. The first documented international competitions took place in the 17th and 18th centuries, with famous players like Ruy López de Segura contributing to the development of opening theory. The modern chessboard, with its 8x8 grid and standardized pieces, became the foundation for all future play. As the 19th century dawned, chess was ready to be formalized as a competitive sport. The first World Chess Championship took place in 1886, and Wilhelm Steinitz emerged as the first official world chess champion. Understanding of positional play became the foundation of modern chess strategy, influencing generations of chess players who would follow. With the foundation of the World Chess Federation, 1924, competitive chess began to take on a more formal structure. The establishment of FIDE brought a sense of unity and organization to the world of chess, allowing players from all corners of the globe to compete under the same rules. Throughout the 20th century, chess became more scientific. Players like José Raúl Capablanca, Alexander Alekhine, and Mikhail Botvinnik dominated the world chess scene. They refined opening theory, endgame strategies, and defensive play. Chess literature flourished during this period, and books and articles were written to analyze and discuss the game in unprecedented detail. In the 20th century, chess was deeply entwined with the geopolitical struggles of the Cold War. The Soviet Union became a dominant force in chess, producing a string of world chess champions who represented the intellectual might of the communist regime. Players like Boris Spassky, Anatoly Karpov, and Garry Kasparov became icons of Soviet chess prowess. One of the most famous moments in chess history occurred in 1972 when Bobby Fischer of the United States faced Boris Spassky of the Soviet Union in a high-stakes match for the World Chess Championship. This match became more than just a game. It was a symbolic battle between the capitalist West and the communist East. Fischer's victory was a triumph for the United States and shattered the Soviet monopoly on chess. The 1972 match had far-reaching implications for the game of chess, brought chess into the global spotlight, and made it a popular sport in the United States, a country that had previously been largely uninterested in the game. Fischer's victory helped popularize chess in the US, sparking a chess boom that would influence generations of players. In the 1980s and 1990s, the rivalry between Garry Kasparov and Anatoly Karpov defined competitive chess. Their matches were seen as a microcosm of the political struggle between the Soviet Union and the West. Kasparov, considered one of the greatest chess players in history, dominated the chess world throughout the 1980s and 1990s. His deep understanding of the game and his aggressive style of play made him a formidable champion. In 1997, a momentous event in chess history occurred when Deep Blue, a computer developed by IBM, defeated Kasparov in a historic match. Time equals 0.7 seconds / This was the first time that a machine had beaten a world champion, and it marked the beginning of a new era in chess. The defeat highlighted the increasing role of artificial intelligence in chess, and it opened up new possibilities for how the game could be analyzed and played. In the 21st century, chess entered a new era driven by the rise of digital platforms. Chess.com and Lichess have made the game accessible to millions around the world. Players no longer need to be part of a physical chess club to compete. They can now play online against opponents from any corner of the globe. These platforms have democratized chess, allowing people from all walks of life to participate. The digital age has also brought chess to a new audience. Streaming platforms like Twitch and YouTube have introduced chess to younger generations, with popular streamers like Hikaru Nakamura and Gotham Chess captivating millions with their skill and insight. These platforms have made chess more interactive and engaging, providing a way for people to watch, learn, and even play in real time. Chess engines like Stockfish and AlphaZero have revolutionized the way chess is studied. These programs can analyze games with incredible depth, providing insights that were previously unimaginable. AlphaZero, developed by DeepMind, uses a form of machine learning to teach itself chess, and its strategies have challenged traditional human thinking. The introduction of AI into chess has opened up new avenues for both professional players and enthusiasts to study and improve. Today, chess is a global phenomenon with millions of players around the world, from beginners to grandmasters. The game continues to grow, and its future looks bright. The digital revolution, AI, and a new generation of players ensure that chess will remain an intellectual sport for generations to come. The game is not only surviving, it is thriving, evolving with the times while maintaining its timeless appeal.